Okay. Hello, Veronica. How are you?
I'm so good, Eva.
I'm pretty good actually, and it's wonderful to be sharing virtual space with you again.
Yes, absolutely, especially to talk about such an important topic that is dear to my heart.
Absolutely. Lesley Hall made such an impact, and that's the whole aim of these interviews, is to share the woman behind the name, because all the internet pages are all just blow by blow, and I want to share with other people. I want to share with people who Lesley Hall actually was behind all her massive achievements. Okay, starting. Could you tell me, Veronica, do you know, in your perception, what were Lesley's motivations, and why did she do what she did? What she did? In other words, I'm talking about the actions that she took, her involvement in governance, and starting the organisations that she did. You knew her quite well, so please let me know.
Well, I knew her in the context of my work at Arts Access. She was on the board when I was recruited as executive director. And I came to know her very well in that role. We became friends through the course of our work together. Her motivations, wow, her motivations were feminist. They were radical. They were about changing the world. She had a strong human rights frame to everything that she did, and was unapologetically demanding of change. She knew the law, she knew public policy, she knew culture, and she melded these three things with such power that people trembled when she came into the room, because she just had so many incredible levers for change. She was powerful and wise. Felt very lucky to learn from her for those years that we worked together.
Sounds wonderful. Okay, next question. Lesley was passionate about supporting artists. Why do you think she was so passionate about this in particular?
I believe that Lesley understood the power of the arts to transcend our moment in time, this moment in time, with so many, just boring and banal moments, right? Of just repetitive inaccessibility, lack of opportunity, barrier. And she knew that the arts could transcend these things, because art was something that was available to everyone, that creativity comes from within. And I think she was passionate about own voices, about people with disabilities telling their stories, owning their narratives as they could do through the arts. And the arts was, although the arts is like all sectors full of inequity, it had a promise. It held a promise of something else, some opportunity to break through and transcend, and also just tell it like it is. Storytellers abound in the arts, and that's what was needed to build the social movement that was the disability rights movement. It needed storytellers to bring everybody on board. And I think that Lesley was really smart and understood those connections and understood the power of the narrative in changing people's perceptions and kind of mobilizing people into the movement.
Wonderful. Let me know, what would be her message to artists today?
Gosh, I don't know what she would say to artists today, because she was a surprising woman, and sometimes just when you thought you had her figured out, she'd come, with a completely different take on something. She was, cultured and a deeply thoughtful person, so she could surprise you all the time. I'm not sure what she would say other than, believe in the possibility of collective action, come together, join forces, build alliances, maybe, that we, you know, I think she understood the power of the institution as well, that, you know, so much is left to the individual. So much, we are so much of the individual, but actually, you know, I think she understood that we were stronger together. That's why she had a history of collective action with so many movements, in the feminist movement and, you know, the workers' movement. And I think she understood that and would say to artists, you know, come together, fight together, demand change together. And yeah, I think that would be her message. If I don't know, but she might also say, fuck that, try something else. Who knows? She was an incredible, surprising, like, you know, woman who would say things that say the unexpected.
And I wish I met her. I really do.
Oh, you would have loved her. Although she could be cranky, I won't lie. We had many a spat between us because we both had a very stubborn personality, and she could be cranky, but never in a way that left the relationship tarnished in any way. And it was it was a challenging kind of, like, you know, sometimes the frustrations would come to the surface, and we would kind of tussle about things, but always in such a beautiful way that put the relationship first. And, you know, I deeply admired and respected her for that as well.
She sounds like an absolutely passionate person, and that's something that you mirror as well, Veronica. So yeah, two passions coming together have that sort of a spark.
Yeah, it was a bit of a spark. And, you know, and our beginning wasn't that great either, you know, when we first encountered each other. Shall I tell you that story?
Please go for it.
So I'd heard a lot about Lesley Hall, and I was seriously scared of meeting her because everyone had told me how fierce she was and how, you know, strongly opinionated and, you know, really like, you know, like a force of nature, force for change. And I was terrified about meeting her. And I hadn't met her because she had been away during my recruitment, so she wasn't on the selection panel. Anyway, the people that had been putting on Art of Difference, so Crusader down at, what's that?
Hares and Hyenas.
Yeah, well, it wasn't Hares and Hyenas. It was when he was working down at, what's that beautiful arts park? I've drawn a blank now. That arts park down in St Kilda, you know, near where you are.
Arts park.
Yeah, you know, Gasworks.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course. So
Gasworks had put on Art of Difference Festival, and they had a panel, a sort of, not a panel discussion, but a kind of policy discussion where they had sort of tables full of stakeholders debating issues of disability rights and access in the arts. And I was going to sit at Lesley's table, and I was really scared. I was scared of meeting her, and I was scared, and I didn't know anything about the arts sector. I just started in the job, and I was worried I'd put my foot in my mouth, and I was worried that I would say the wrong thing. And I was really, you know, worried about my politics and how it would land. Because, you know, as you know, I have a very clear sort of politics around public good and about public organisations receiving government money, but then not meeting their obligations. And so I was really worried, will I be able to speak honestly about my views? Should I be a bit more restrained, perhaps, you know? And, you know, we sat down and the woman asked me a question, and I said, well, I might direct this question to our chair, Lesley Hall, because I didn't want to speak first, just in case I said the wrong thing. And it was about what should we do about organisations that refuse to comply with their obligations. And she just looked the woman in the eye and said, defund them all. And I thought, I think we're going to get along. And we did. You know, we were, you know, we had the same kind of views around accountability, public accountability. And yeah, she was phenomenal. What can I say? Best chair I was very fortunate to have wonderful chairs. I also want to note Margarita Coppolino, another chair of Arts Access. But Lesley was just so, you know, as a young CEO coming into the sector, working under her guidance, you know, she created an environment where I could flourish, and it wasn't cheerleading, it was challenge, and I'm so grateful to her for it.
Such a foundation, such a foundation to begin your relationship with. So thank you very much, Veronica. Thank you for this interview. I'm going to finish recording right now. Just a second.